Hey YouTube. Today I kind of wanted to talk like seriously on emotional health. By like being on the road and stuff like that. A long times, you know, people come into this field for various reasons, but I just got finished like talking with someone and they're struggling right now. They're struggling with their emotional health. And I can understand like being isolated for great lengths of time. You know, it can evoke certain feelings. And I just, I just wanted to like just speak on it. And I don't know if this can help anyone. That's the only thing that I want to do. Um, Depression is real. It is really traumatical experience. There are various reasons which cause depression, but to me, it is treatable. I know, like in the field, in a psychological field, you know, counseling, medication are two ways to treat it. But I always feel that those the work needs to be done within, because no matter how much medication they give you, no matter how much therapy that you talk through, until you internalize what you're going through, that's the only way that progress is going to be made. It's many layers. I call depression a lot of layers. It's like peeling an onion. It's a lot of layers to that. And you have to tackle, a lot of people try to tackle everything at once. And I would say the best route to go is to tackle one issue at a time. Um, and that's it. One issue at a time, one moment at a time, one day at a time, 1 second at a time. However it is that you have, that you can deal with it. Some people, when you're at your lowest point, you can't think of the next day. So you can't go day to day. And that's when you may have to chuck it down to hour, minute to minute, second to second, whatever it is that you can deal with to get you to the next second, the next minute, the next hour. I say challenge challenge your demons, whatever it is that you may be running away from or hiding from or self-medicating with booze or drugs or sex or food. There's all kind of vices that people have to self-medicate what it is that they're dealing with. Um, I know from experience, the best way to do it is for me, when I was going through it, I still go through it from time to time, but this has been my journey for the last 7 years. It took me 7 years to understand my triggers, to understand what serves me and what was toxic for me. And I had to change my whole life drastically. Foods I ate to what I surround myself with, what I watched on TV, what I listened to on the radio, people that I hung around, conversations that I had. Everything had to change. The food I ate, some food were triggers. They were because I was a eater too. I was a soother. I soothe myself with food. So I had to rearrange everything that I had to do, and that's why I'm very sympathetic to this illness, because I understand the burden and I understand the weight that one carries when they're going through these type of things. Um, I for best results, like I said, I took my challenges bit by bit. I only dealt with one thing at a time. One. And that was it. And when I was able to move myself past one situation or one traumatic incident that happened in my life, then I tackled the next and the next and the next until it got to the ones that I was really avoiding. And I had to do that. And the last thing I had to learn to do was forgive myself. And that was, took a while, because guilt also is associated with depression. Um, And so you have to learn to forgive yourself as well. Um, and once I was able to grasp all of that, I used to send a reminder to myself, seriously, because we are what we tell. So if I went through life saying that I was a bad person, if I was going through life saying that I didn't deserve to be here, I was nobody, because if that's what you're being told all of your life, and if that is what's been drilled into your head, you go through life thinking that, and you have to rewire the way that you see yourself, you know. So I would send myself on my phone, on my phone, I would send myself something and it would say, "You look beautiful today." Because I had never been told that. I was told, I would send myself something and I would say, "Did I tell you I love you?" And I would send myself these messages every 5 or 10 minutes, every day, for over a year, until it became part of my thought process. And that's why I always like try to, when I used to foster, and so I would work with a lot of children, and these are the same things I used to tell them. And that's why, a lot of the social workers, they liked me, because I could relate with the issues that these children were dealing with, because I was that child. I was that child that was put off as a bad kid. I have ADHD. So we didn't know that at that time. We didn't know, but it was back then. Everybody was, you were a bad kid. You're just a bad kid. You're no good. Whatever. And it does something to you. So I had to learn to teach these kids at a younger age, so that they don't go through teenage years and adult years hating on themselves, being toxic, toxifying everybody else around them. And I had to try to teach them to love themselves and to tell themselves good things every day, especially when they start negative talking and things like that. And I never did that with my kids. I don't teach them to badmouth each other. We talk through our differences. We don't call each other names and things like that, because those scars run deep. They run deeper than you think. Words, you can't take back words once you say them. You know what I'm saying? You can't take those words back. You can't take those actions back once you wounded a person. That's now part of their life experience. So we have to be mindful at a younger age what we say and how we act with other people, because that alters their life experience. We keep saying, "Oh, they'll be all right." It manifests itself in other ways. That's why you're wondering why your child running around here becoming a stripper. You don't know what her life was as a child. You don't know what she's been told. She may have only thought that's the only way. That's what she was only good for. You don't know that. You don't know. I mean, I don't knock hustlers. I get it. I understand, the child that has the being forced to parent themselves and raise themselves at a very young age. I get it. So I don't knock them. I talks to them. I've helped many a young kids get back in high school, get their GED, go to Job Corps, go get a job, go to college. I did whatever I needed to do. I would wash their clothes, give them bus fare, feed them, you know, whatever it is that I could do to make sure that they were successful because, you know, I don't come from a genre where, you know, we were all out for each other because that's kind of like what this genre is becoming. It's becoming everyone out for themselves. I come more from a village mindset. So I can't sit there and see good potential, see smart young kids, young brothers and young sisters out there, and all they're looking for is a little help. I can't just sit back and not do anything, and that's just not who I am. And I don't know. I just had like these just conversations. I mean, some of my youth, they still reach out to me, and what, you know, she told me, it just made my heart just break, you know, because I understand the pain, um, and the frustrations and everything. And, you know, when we ended our conversation today, you know, she felt better, but, you know, it doesn't end with that's just sort of like, I call it just a Band-Aid. Um, you know, it is a depression and things like that. It takes a long time. It's not a quick fix. It is dedication. It takes a lot of dedication. You got to definitely do the work. You got to understand your triggers. You got to learn how to avoid the triggers. You do whatever you need to do. I wake up with affirmations every morning. I go to sleep with affirmations every night. Every night. It's crucial. I mean, it's like it's programmed in my whole mindset so that I don't ever, you know, go back into a darker way. And even then, you know, even if it does creep in, even if I do feel myself getting sad, even if I did expose myself to something that I knew, or it's usually not something, it's usually people. If I have to come around people and I know they're going to be talking negative, everything in every sentence coming out of their mouth is horrible, bad, 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 then it kind of creeps back in because I start going back and I start thinking again about the bad things that happened to me instead of the good things that's happened to me. You know, I don't like to think of it as being bad things, bad experiences. I look at them as experiences that helped me be who I am now. If I hadn't gone through a lot of the things, I wouldn't have had these things to learn, which wouldn't have elevated me into the person I am today. So, um, I don't want to keep this too long. We're already into 13 minutes. But that's what I wanted to do, talk to you guys about. Just be mindful of your emotional health check. You know, if any of the suggestions that I made, please by all means use them. If you affirmations, I find them all the time. Look up sleep affirmations and I am affirmations. Though there are a lot of good ones out there. I do meditations in the afternoon during my 30-minute reset. My 30-minute lunch break. I I program little things like on my alarm just so that it comes back to me. It's annoying, but it's necessary because after a while you'll start laughing at it because you're going to be like, I can't believe it. You're going to want to stop like, ah, but no, you put it on there forever. I put it on there forever. And that way, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, I have one of 3 different affirmations coming in. Have I told you were beautiful today? Have I told you you are loved? And have I told you how smart you are? And those are my 3 things I tell myself all the time because those were the things that were lacking and those were my biggest struggles because I had always been told opposite. I was bad, I was ugly, and I was no good. So, like, share, subscribe. I want to like start like having these type of talks, because this is a big part of who I am. Yeah, I truck, but I'm more of a conscious person, and I like to bring awareness to things in a positive note. So, if this is something y'all want to hear more of, let me know. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.